There's quite a bit of different ways you can remove tonsil stones, and if you're wondering what the best method is, it's definitely flushing. So in this video, I'm going to share a little bit about the 3 most popular ones and which one that I actually think is the best. By the way, there's going to be some going into my mouth in this video, so fair warning. So back in the old days of the Wild West, where you get to go to the saloon on a Sunday morning for some whiskey and watch a few duels with your friends, battle to the death over a game of cards. Ah, those were the good old days. But miners from the 1870s would use a little method of mining called hydraulic mining to strip the land of every ounce of gold possible from the ancient bedrock. And like the miners of old, we can use water to flush out tonsil stone, except these aren't exactly the nuggets you're going to want to be mining for, if you know what I mean. Number 1 is the curved tip syringe, which is the most popular recommendation for flushing out tonsil stone. This was my first exposure to tonsil stone removal irrigators, and I remember when I first saw hidden tonsil stones being blasted out of my tonsils, I realized this was a superior method to simply using a lighted pick. One of the pros to using this thing is that it's really inexpensive, it's small, and it's portable. But it's also awkward to use, and this tip is really sharp. You'll notice that there's a little bit of a burn mark on there, and that's because you need to round out the edges before you start poking around into your tonsils. There is a new style of tonsil stone removal kit that has one of these bundled in. And I did an unboxing a few videos back, so definitely go check that out. Number 2 is the Waterpik. It wasn't very long after I began using the syringe when I realized that I was the proud owner of this here Waterpik, and I wasted no time in putting it to use for flushing out tonsil stones, with great success, by the way. After about a week or 2, I realized that I didn't need to use a lighted pick anymore if I used this as often as I brush my teeth. One of the pros for using the Waterpik is that it can be used for flossing, and it's easy to control the water stream. One of the cons to using the Waterpik is that it can be cumbersome to use, and it could easily cause bleeding, and it's not portable. Also, these tips can be pretty short for reaching the back of your throat. Before you use this, you turn the strength down to the lowest setting and use a special tip so you don't hurt yourself or inflame your tonsils, which can actually make it easier to develop tonsils. And this one here is my favorite. After using the Waterpik for a few months, I started doing some traveling and found that I would get tonsil stones if I didn't use an irrigator for a few days. I didn't really want to use the pick. No, I did want to use the pick. I didn't really want to pack the Waterpik, and I felt that the syringe did an inferior job. One of the things that I really like about it is that it's easy to control the gentleness of the stream with this little finger pump thing. Whoops. It's cheap, light, and portable, and natural to use, and this tip is really long for reaching the back of your throat. However, the con on this one is that it's really weak, so it can't really be used as a way to floss your teeth. But even with that caveat, it's satisfying to use because it feels like hydraulic strip mining. If you use it every day to flush out the inside of your tonsil crypts, then you won't have to worry about tonsil stones so much. Even if you eat foods that cause them or are prone to having dry mouth. I've got a video, wherever YouTube's putting the cards these days, that goes into more detail. The good thing about all these versions is that they all can be filled with your favorite mouthwash. I like to use an oxygenating mouthwash or a food grade hydrogen peroxide at 3%, which works great to dissolve tonsil stones and kill off the bad bacteria. If you want to know more, check out the other videos on my channel. Links are in the description for where you can purchase these tools, and let me know in the comments if you used these before and what your results were. This is Tonsil Tamer signing off, and I'll see you next time.